weakness, multiple falls, so they're falling. So we did a lot of balance stuff, a lot of walking, a lot of balance training with home health stuff.
Is there a rule of thumb for rehab? For instance, if someone is off their feet or it breaks a leg, breaks a hip, they're unable to walk for a certain period of time, is there some amount that you lose of, I'm sure there's like way too many variables to simplify this, what I'm trying to get at, but is there a way to kind of say if you're off your feet for 8 weeks, then it's going to take, so long to get back to full mobility, especially if you're a senior? Is there any did you find any rules of thumb or some kind of generalization on how much time?
There are some. I can't remember all of them right now, but I remember they used to tell us something like a day in bed is 3 days of recovery or something like that.
Wow.
Or more. I'd say that's inaccurate with that one, but
yeah. I imagine especially with seniors and if you're dealing with memory issues on top of physical rehab, broken bones, physical illnesses, but the memory issues too, I imagine it just prolongates that rehab.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of them, when they, unless they have really good support with the family, if they can't remember to do exercises on their own or do certain things, then they're not getting that activity that they need for the improved strength, right?
Yeah. We had a woman in our care home who she has days where she doesn't want to do a thing. Then she has days where she wants it. Like she sees the improvement and she wants to do it. And then other days she just wants to do nothing. And I don't know, I'm guessing that you would go regardless. Would you dial back? And I know you mentioned this before earlier, but when someone doesn't want to do anything, would you just try and scale back or just try and get them to do anything or any participation in whatever, even to a minimal degree, was obviously better than...
Yeah, you'd always try to encourage them to do something.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example as you were talking about the lady that you had. The oldest lady that I ever worked with was 104.
Oh, wow.
And so I was going to her, she was living in an assisted living group home.
Uh-huh.
And when I would go and visit her, there was days where she'd be just like that lady, where she'd want to do more and she'd want to, all right, let's push it just a little bit. And then there's other days when she's like, I'm not feeling well. And, she's 104, so what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to kill her and make her do things that she doesn't want to do. But I'll still encourage her. Well, I know that it's a rough day today, so let's just do this, or let's just work on these simple little balance things. So you still try to get something.
That's good. Yeah, so I guess just scaling back, try not to have too fixed plans, depending on how they present to you that day, you can kind of run with that. Maybe get a little more than you planned or maybe back off. Just try and maintain a positive attitude and try and help them work on something and get a little better.
Yeah.
That's good.
Or sometimes if they're not able to, most of the time you're calling ahead of time. You're talking to them the day before or even a couple hours before you're getting there as you're going throughout your day. And someone cancels right at the last minute. So you try to swing, can I come a little bit earlier, whatever. So you're in contact with them. So usually they know they're coming. Mm-hmm. And usually when they already know that you're coming, then they'll do something when you're there. But sometimes when you get there, they're not super motivated. So then you can spend a little bit of time with even family education if needed.
Well, and with those phone calls, you can kind of feel them out too, or feel whether you're talking to the patient themselves or family member or someone in maybe a manager or a caregiver in the setting that they're at. You can kind of get to engage them at least.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Okay, so after you spent some time doing in-home, then now you're in, I guess, a more traditional physical therapy office that kind of handles a little bit of everything?
Yep. So it's an outpatient. It's mostly orthopedic type of stuff, but we do see a good variety of things. We try to stay away from the neurological type of stuff, high-level strokes that need a lot of one-on-one attention.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it's a lot of back pain, a lot of neck pain, hip after surgery, knee replacements, rotator cuff repairs, and shoulders and things like that. So,
well, I imagine you still get a fair share of seniors coming in with everything which you just mentioned. A lot of orthopedics, breaks from falls or just hips, things like that, of generally something that you would see with people that age.
Yep. And I do a lot of, since I have so much training in balance things, we have a lot of people with balance issues and strength issues. I'm the one that usually sees those people.
For you, what do you enjoy most about working with seniors that come in your practice now or in the past?
Again, like I said earlier, I like developing relationships with people, whether they're older or younger. I like to be able to spend time with them and chat. We do a lot of manual stuff, so one-on-one time at the end of our treatments where we can either work on balance or stretches or massages or things like that. But it gives you a chance to really interact with the patients and ask them and, just talk to them. So I like relationships, I guess.
Cool. Is there any suggestions or anything that you find, I don't know, either challenging or something that you try and keep in mind when you work with seniors?
I think this goes for all groups, but education, I think, is really key. Why are we doing this? A lot of people wonder, why am I going to have them kick their leg out or do certain exercise activities? So I like to spend a lot of time educating people. This is a problem here at your hip. However, because you're walking a little bit weird, it's causing other problems. And so educating them why we're doing certain things and why they may have pain in multiple areas or limitations in multiple areas. One of the biggest challenges I face is especially working with people who have dementia, things like that. Those are definitely challenging for the family and for the individual. If they can't remember, they're like, this exercise, this is new. And they're like, no, we've been doing this the last 2 weeks. So
I imagine in those cases you're having to educate them each time, point worth repeating, so that rather than asking them to do things and telling them what to do, you explain why we're doing this, this bend or this stretch or this whatever strength exercise to help them with. And that's, I think, maybe a little bit of extra patience when we're working with people like that. I have a great aunt who has some pretty good dementia. It's gone from she'll ask me who I am each time we meet to she'll ask me who I am like several times in a conversation, and I still love her all the same. I just have to be a little more explaining and reminding her, and that's good. That's a good reminder.
Yeah, it takes patience. That's for sure.
Cool, man. I don't think I have anything else. Is there anything else that you think might be helpful to know?
I think it's amazing how, with most anything that we have, knee pain, back pain, hip pain, whatever, there's certain surgeries and stuff where this may not be true, but it's amazing how staying active, doing some simple exercises, not just walking. Walking is great, but walking only works in a single plane, forward. And so it works all those muscles in that same motion, same plane. So we need to work in the arms and, just getting a good little body workout a couple times a week can make a world of difference in preventative problems and just increased quality of life. So people who become very sedentary are the ones that we see the most of, right? And sometimes after just a couple of weeks of doing things, or a month or 6 weeks of doing things, they feel so much better because they're being active.
And
So if they would have been active all along, I think that would have prevented a lot of that.
No, that's a good reminder. With that bit of advice, I just want to dig in a little more. You're recommending a bit of strength training. Is that what you mentioned? You mentioned the different body parts to make sure you're doing something.
Yeah, there's been a lot of research, as far as strength training and stuff. And, the oldest that they do these researches on that I've read throughout my career have been like 80-year-olds. They haven't done much research on 90 or older. Mm-hmm. But on 80-year-olds, they show that some type of a resistance training. So, for example, with the arms, shoulders, if you do like rows or lats or some simple things like that, and they can be with rubber bands. They don't have to be with super heavy weights.
Yeah.
But if you're doing some type of a resistance training, you maintain better strength, better bone structure, better cardio, it just helps with everything.
Good. And would you recommend coupling that with a bit of cardio, whether it be walking or just different?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep, I think walking is one of the best exercises you can do, but it also isn't enough. But if you're going to choose to do one or the other, walking is one of the best things that people can do.
Do you have a favorite that you prescribe?
A favorite what?
A favorite cardio exercise.
Cardio?
Yeah.
Depends on the person. It can be walking. I'd say most people have access to walking, whether they, are walking in the hallways in their own home or going out if they live in a poor climate area, or like right now when it's raining or snowing or whatever, they can get to a mall or a Walmart or something and walk the aisles. Mm-hmm. So that's something that's really good for them. If they're not able to walk well because of balance, or sometimes knee pain can inhibit them from walking too much, then sometimes the bike, like a recumbent bike, is one of my more favorite things to do as well.
Perfect. Okay, Britt, that's some good advice, and I think we'll end with that. I appreciate your time. Hey, thank you for your time tonight. Appreciate it. You're a good friend.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch soon.
Okay, sounds good, man.
Good night.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Brit is a great guy. He comes from a good family, and I am blessed to know them. And I think we will end with his parting and suggestions that we stay active, do a little bit of physical strength or resistance training, and a little bit of cardio to make sure that we are healthy and have the use of our body for as long as possible. I hope you have a great day, and thank you for your time.